So you've decided that you want to become a professional photographer, or you're wanting to work in that direction. Well, I will tell you some of the things you need to know today, so let's get started. So nothing wrong with being a professional photographer. I've been one for over 40 years. If you want to be one, I think it's awesome. It can be a great job. It can be high stress sometimes, but it can also be a lot of fun. What I'm going to do is toward the end of this video, I'm going to give you 4 things that you really need to do to become a professional photographer, to get started toward becoming a professional photographer. So I'm going to tell you how I did it first, and then I'll get into those 4 sections that you probably want to check out. Now, I started in 1983 working in a 1-hour photo lab processing film. So I learned to process film and print before I learned how to shoot, which kind of helps. I got to see all the errors that people made and learn. I kind of, inside out, backwards. I learned it backwards, reverse, whatever you want to say. I just learned it 99% different than what most people learned it, which I think helped me. So in 1984, I photographed my first wedding. And since 1984, we photographed over 1,000 weddings, but we just didn't wake up with all those people calling. So in 1987, we opened our own 1-hour photo lab, 87, 88, and 89. Me and my wife got married in 89, and she helped, and we did our own 1-hour photo lab, and we also had a studio there, and I did shoot some weddings, not as many at the time because we were open on Saturdays. We were open every day except for Sunday, printing out, and we were probably doing 20, 30, 40 rolls a day, and we could do E6. We're the only lab on the south side of Atlanta that could do E6 on premises. We could do up to 20 by 30s in the same day, so we had a lot going on in our lab. But we mostly used Fuji and Konica paper. We sold Fuji film and some Konica film. It was mostly Fuji film though. So we did that, and then in 1991, I was the manager of Glamour Shots for a year. Still shot weddings during that year, but I was managing Glamour Shots. Then in 1992, me and one of my best friends sat down and did some figuring, thinking, because the guy that owned the Glamour Shots at the one I was working at said, hey, let's take this to corporations and take it to them. I said, no, let's take it to people's homes and turn it into a party. He didn't want nothing to do with that. So he said, you do your thing and I'll do mine. I said, okay. Well, 6 months later, he took our picture that was out front and hung it in the bathroom because we were putting the hurt on them. We were doing a lot. We had 39 employees in 2 different states, 1 office in Jonesboro, Georgia, 1 office in Gastonia, North Carolina. We had about 39 people. We were covering South Carolina, Georgia, North Carolina, Alabama, Tennessee, a little bit everywhere. And we were making an absolute killing. So then Glamour died, and then after that, it's when I got into weddings heavy. As I'll get to toward the end, when I say what you need to do to start getting started in photography, is I got to know people all along the way. I met people from the 1-hour lab. I met people, that were appraisers. I met a lot of people. I met a lot of people at Glamour Shots. In fact, I've got a girl coming in for pictures soon, and I've been taking her pictures since Glamour Shots. She was 15. I was like 21. So she'll be in a few weeks for a photo session. She's a really cool girl. So after Glamour Shots died out, we went into weddings pretty much hardcore all the time from about 93 up to about 2012. I mean, sometimes 5 a weekend. I had it set so that me and my wife, if we had 5 a weekend, it'd be 1 on a Friday, 2 on a Saturday, 2 on a Sunday. We would shoot the beginning, and I had another photographer named Ralph that would come and shoot the reception for me, especially on 2 on Saturday, 2 on Sunday. We would shoot the first wedding, leave him with the reception, go on to the next wedding, leave, then he would show up at the second reception. It went on and on like that, so for years and years. But we got to know a lot of people. I still see people to this day that we've shot their wedding pictures. We've shot their kids' babies' pictures. Now we've shot their kids' graduation pictures. It's really interesting. So the more people you can get to know, the better. Get something in somebody's hand, get your website out, get to know a lot of people. Networking, I guess you call it, is, for us, it was different. We didn't have websites in the 80s and 90s, so it was us talking to people and getting to know people and word of mouth. If somebody said, hey, I got a friend who's getting married and they knew us, they said, hey, call Daniel, Denise, they'll do it. And that's pretty much what happened. I mean, it just took off like that. We never did advertising. We never did a bridal show. Our first bridal show we ever did was earlier this year. So, but anyway, I'll stop rambling about me and let me get to the points that you need to know if you want to become a professional photographer in today's world. Now, when I was learning photography, I had about 3 or 4 photographers that took me under their wings and taught me how to do it. They'd say, hey, come on, let's go shoot a wedding and help me out. Or, hey, can you go do this small event? As I learned more, they'd send me to small things and go do by myself. So, but I went to a lot of weddings with them, and You know, and that's still what I recommend. You need to go be a second shooter, whether it's paid or unpaid, to photograph a wedding. If you're going to be a wedding photographer, this is mostly based around being a wedding photographer. You can apply the same principles to about any other type of photography you want, but I'm basing this off of weddings because this is what I did. But like I said, you can use the same philosophies for event photography or whatever you want to do. But I would say the first thing you need to do before you even think about charging somebody to do any kind of pictures is you need to master that camera. I don't care which camera it is. I don't care if it's Canon 40D or a Canon 6D Mark II or a Canon R5. You've got to master your camera because you can't end up in a situation where you're lost and you don't know how to fix this. You don't know how to, I don't know how to fix this. It's overexposed, it's underexposed, something's not right. I don't know how to fix it. You have to know how to do this. That's not even a question. Don't charge people until you can just about work your camera with blindfolded. Because what you're going to do is you're going to go out and you're going to do a shoot, and you're going to charge somebody a bunch of money, you're going to mess up the pictures, and then you're going to give everybody a bad name. And on top of it, you're likely to get sued. So don't be foolish. Learn to do it. Work as a second photographer for free. Work as a second photographer for a little bit of money. Come in and shoot receptions. Just go around to photographers. I'm still looking for a photographer right now that'll shoot receptions. In this world we live in right now, really hardly nobody wants to work. So if you can find somebody, and I've been offering $50 an hour and full training, still can't get anybody. So there are photographers out there that would love for somebody to come knock on their door and say, hey, I'll work for a little bit of money, or I'll work for free. Just teach me and let me shoot your receptions. You can do that, I promise. Many photographers out there will take that. Once you master your photography, once you master your camera, which you absolutely have to do, because when you're at a wedding or an event, you can't sit there and think, oh, I need this at 250, at f4, at ISO 400. No, you've got to just know. You've got to get, because you got a couple over here that's wanting some pictures. You take your camera. You can't sit there and think about, do I bounce this flash, or do I put a reflector on top of it, and what's my f-stop, and oh, look at that over there, I don't know. You have to be able to just do this without thinking about it. This is what sets an amateur apart from a professional photographer. The numbers, the f-stops, ISOs, all that has to come natural. When you walk into a room, you know what to do, or you can do one test shot while maybe somebody's setting up a big group shot. You can take one test shot to make sure you're right. That's about all you're going to get. The second shot is going to have to be right. You don't have time shooting an event. It's not the time to be learning your f-stops and your shutter speeds, okay? You have to know that ahead of time, and you're going to have to practice a lot to get to that point. And like I said a while ago, you're going to have to meet and talk to a lot of people. We used to use portfolios, the big books that were black. You know, somebody wants to see our work, we'd take on the big black portfolio. Now you guys have websites, and we do too. So just build up a website. You can do that. I've still got some portfolio books that I show around. We keep wedding albums like we show brides. I've got physical wedding albums that I show brides on top of our website. So, you know, be prepared. Have your website built. Have it looking good. Know your equipment, know how to handle things, understand photography 100% before you start charging people to do it. Also, when you get into event photography and you're getting paid, you need to join the Professional Photographers of America, because they will insure you if something does go wrong and you get sued. Because, you know, you can know everything there is to know, and your camera can malfunction, and there are cards, or everything could get stolen out of your car. There's a million things that could go wrong. Get insured. PPA insurance will insure you for weddings. There's other companies that will insure you for different things, but get your equipment insured and get your event insured. And also, while you're at it, you want to get coverage in case somebody hurts themselves in an event. Maybe they trip over your tripod. You're going to need that kind of insurance also. I don't know why this phone keeps going off. I am sorry. Sorry about that. But you need to know the business end of photography. Get the insurance, get the equipment insurance, get the liability insurance, get every kind of insurance you can possibly imagine so you don't get sued. If you go shoot somebody's wedding and you mess it up, you're going to get sued. And if you didn't know what you were doing, I don't think you deserve anything different. You have no business being out shooting a wedding, giving a bad name to photographers that know how to do it because you think, oh, I got a camera, I got a Canon R5 and a 28 to 70 f2 lens, I can do this, no problem. There is so much more to a wedding. Photography knowledge is maybe 25% of it. The other 75% is handling people. There's so many things that can happen at a wedding, and you've got to be able to take control of everything. I've covered some of that in the past, but I just want to bring it up again. It's the same way when you're shooting other kind of events. Whatever it is, Everybody's looking at you because you're the photographer. You got to have the answer. You fix it. And that's the only way around it. Now, the other thing I would highly suggest is when you're done, and people are always going, can I see the back of the camera? Can I see the back of the camera? Can I see the picture? Sometimes I will let them see it. Sometimes I won't. I won't let them see it big. I'll, on the flip screen, I'll show it to them for a second, say this is not edited, but I don't show it to them often because you don't want people to see pictures that are unedited. You might be shooting in RAW, you might be a half stop or a stop overexposed on what you just shot. You don't want to show that to the customer. They go, oh, that's not very good. So just wait, tell them to wait, tell them you're shooting in RAW. It's a different process. Make them wait a few weeks to see their pictures, and then they can see the absolute perfect pictures that you've shot. You want to go to places like hair salons, bridal stores, anywhere, churches, anywhere that people are going to get married. Venues are big. Take them a book, give them your card with a website, get to know people, get to know people, get to know people. They say it's not what you know, it's who you know, and that is true a lot of the time. And in the last 40 years plus, I've gotten to know a lot of people. So, some people will call me. I'm thinking of a guy the other day. I've been shooting this picture since the 80s. I won't say his name. Great guy. He calls me, hey, do this. He never checks around with anybody else. He doesn't care. I've been doing it for him since the 80s. I'm the one he calls. If I can't do it, he totally lost on who to call. Usually he'll change the time if I can't do it. But, get that kind of rapport going on with your clientele, and you'll be good to go. Like I said, I've been shooting his pictures since the late 80s. He's never hollered at anybody else to do the pictures. I've always been the one to do them, and I appreciate that. That is how you stay in business as a photographer for over 40 years. But what I've said a million times, do not go photograph anything without insurance, and don't go photograph anything that you do not know how to do 100%, or you could do it blindfolded. Photography is a great business to get into if you get into it and do it right. Now, if you get into it and start messing up, you're going to be shut down. I've had photographers I've trained over the years. Some of them have shot for 6 months. Some of them quit immediately. And a very, very, very few minority are still doing it. I apologize for this beeping. I don't know where it's coming from. Probably my laptop. I'm not sure. I'm getting dings everywhere. But just learn your camera. Learn the business. Meet people. Get your website, start small, offer to shoot some stuff free. If you go into a bridal shop and they've got, maybe it's a new one. I've got a friend who owns a bridal shop. That's what popped into my head. In 2 weeks, I'm going down. I wouldn't do it for free, but I'm doing it for her because I've known her since she worked for us when we did the glamour stuff. So over 30 years ago, she's got a bridal shop. I'm going to do some video, and she's got 4 models coming in, and we're going to shoot all day down there. So, get your work out to people like that. Get to meet people and get them to like you. Go in and say, hey, I like that. It's beautiful. That's a beautiful dress right there. If you got a model or something, or I can bring a model, I'll photograph it for free and you can hang it up in your window. Most people aren't going to turn down free stuff, especially if it's good once they see your work. So that's what I got to say about getting into photography. There's a lot of learning. It's not just turning on a camera, buying a high-end camera and saying, I'm ready for photography. It's just not. And I don't know why people think it's that way. It's just not, and they'll learn in a hurry that it's not. But I am here. You got my email. Send me an email if you have any questions about wanting to get into photography. I love it. I think it was the best decision ever made getting into photography. I've been doing it for over 40 years, and I wouldn't change a thing. I'm getting older, as you can tell, and we're cutting back on some of our large-size weddings. And, in 15, 20 years, whenever the case may be, we're hoping to be, possibly living near a beach somewhere, not Greece or anything like that, but like to be in an area where I can shoot 1-hour weddings. And you can do that on the beach when the sun sets, because the wedding starts about an hour before sunset. And once the sun sets, I will be done. If they want to go have a party somewhere else, then I'll find somebody else to go shoot those pictures. But I'll do the 1-hour wedding part on the beach, because beaches are beautiful. They're not easy to do. You got to understand light. It's like anything else. But they're short term, because when the sun goes down, you're done on the beach and they can go somewhere else, and I'll send another photographer along with them. That's just me rambling. But anyway, who knows what the future holds. But if you want to learn photography, keep watching our channel. There's a lot of other good channels out there you can learn from. And you got my email at the bottom. Just ask me any questions. And if we're helping you guys out, hit subscribe. Have a good day.